So welcome to another Fifth Thursday, and today I'm taking a look at the budget Bungee here that I've got and see how it compares to something like one from Razer or Zowie. So as you know, in these reviews we go through budget gaming gear and give you an idea of what the market has to offer in the cheaper range. I mean, not everyone's got the money to spend on premium products. If you are interested in premium products though, okay, Milo's trying to get involved, then take a look at my Tech Tuesday videos, and on there I do other stuff like the Razer gear, Zowie, Logitech, all those other peripherals. So as I said, I got this Bungee here. I got it off Amazon for $6.99 and I wanted to try it out to see how good it is and whether it was as good as the other products that are charging £20 to £30. Given they're only Bungees, you'd expect them to deliver a bit more. And I wanted to see how a cheaper budget one compared to these premium products. So here it is. So the design of this is nothing out of the ordinary. It's very standard for a Bungee. The only real difference on this is this kind of mirror on the front, and this gives you the ability to look behind you, maybe if you're on your desk. To me, it's not a very good mirror, so you probably wouldn't use it, but something a bit different here. The version I got here is the white version. There is also a black version. It's a solid plastic shell with some rubber feet, but the only part of the Bungee that's metal is the springs themselves, but that's no different to any other product. It has 3 channels. It's got one at the top, back lower I guess you could call it, and one at the very base. This allows you to run your cable down it securely. But overall the build quality on this is pretty good considering it's $6.99. The only real concern I've got here on the build quality is the top channel is a little bit cheap, a little bit plasticky. I mean, everything I've tried is plastic, but this feels like a very brittle, cheap plastic. Although I don't expect it to break really over time. Something to bear in mind here. So for me, the base does lack a little bit of weight here. I weighed this Bungee and it comes in at 154 grams. And I feel that if you've got a bit of tension on the cable, for instance, you've got something like, as I reviewed recently, the Dream Mouse Pro has a very stiff cable, and I feel like it would push over the Bungee. Although this hasn't happened to me, I feel if you've got a bit of pressure, unlike this mouse here, this Zowie one, quite a flexible cable anyway, and it doesn't cause the Bungee any problem, but if you've got one that's a little bit stiffer, it would push it over. And the feet themselves are lacking a little bit of grip, although it does grip the table really well. They're very small and they don't offer as much support as they could have done here given the size of the base. One of the things you could do to get around that is you could actually use some M3 tape on the bottom of this base itself, and you could stick it to your table, and I think then that would be a pretty good Bungee and give you a very, very secure base for your cable to sit in. So testing out the spring tension here, this is one of the things I'm trying to do to give some people some idea of what the tensions are like on the different varieties of Bungees and the springs. I haven't really noticed much difference. These ones came in at 26 grams, 30 grams, and 31 grams. Give you an average of 29 grams tension here. And to me that was fine. I haven't felt any pulling, tugging or anything different here when I was playing Insurgency with it. And it didn't really bother me at all. The Bungee performed really well, to be fair. So getting on to the dimensions of this Bungee. The overall height here from the base to the top channel, let's call it, is 120 millimeters. The base end to end is 120 millimeters as well. The base width at the widest point is 80 millimeters. If you measure the spring length here from the base channel, let's call it, it's 130 millimeters. And if you measure the spring length in total, it gives you 80 millimeters of spring tension. The thing that I'd be more interested in is the channel width, and I found the one that I did with Razer was very narrow. This one here doesn't seem to suffer from that, and it has good grip, and there's a decent width. Channels here, the top channel front, let's call it, because it's got 2 widths of top channel, is an initial width of 3 millimeters, and it widens inside the channel to 3.5 millimeters. As you can see here, the cable here from Zowie is something like 2.6 millimeters width, so it easily fits in this channel. If anything, the Zowie one here is probably a little bit thin, and it does tend to pop out the top of the channel, but the final mouse one was much more secure and didn't tend to do that. The middle width channel is 3mm, although maybe a little bit tapered in because it does tend to grip the cable a little bit more. And the rear top channel has two options here. It's got a 2.4mm initial channel, which can open up. It's like a little V, so you can like push it open and close, got like a little bit of flex in it. And the overall channel width once it's in there is 4.6mm, so it's more of a guide channel, I would say, and just stops it moving around a little bit at the back, which I quite like. So what was in the box? Well, nothing much. It was literally in a plastic bag, so there is no packaging with this. It turned up in an envelope in a plastic bag, but for $6.99 I can't really complain. I think overall, my conclusion on this is my overall impression is really good of this bungee. I really can't understand the difference between this one and say the Razer one. I've got the Zyro one to try, the Comrade, and I've got a few other ones. I've got the Razer V2 to try. And let me know in the comments if you want me to look at any other bungees. But overall, really, I couldn't really fault this for the price. I think it's really good. I think if you're after a budget bungee, these are definitely worth looking at for $6.99. I mean, they're a third of the price of the other ones. And to me, I can't understand why the vendors are charging so much for their bungees, given some of them are between £20 and £30. It's just ridiculous. But you got to pay for the brand naming, I guess. So overall, I like this bungee. Don't forget to look at my other videos coming up, and I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.